Flight Lt Thomas, the second commanding officer of 56 Woolwich Squadron, was born on the 31st of August 1910 to his mother and father in Kensal, Bexleyheath. Flight Lt Thomas's education was mostly carried out at Victoria College, which was a fee-charging school in St Helier, Jersey in the Channel Islands. In his early years, Flight Lt Thomas showed great qualities which helped him become the man he did later on in life. He was also recognised as one of the founding members of 56 Woolwich Squadron. Upon leaving school, Flight Lt Thomas joined his father's building company, which was behind the design of many famous buildings in London today. Flight Lt Thomas was elected president of the Woolwich Chamber of Commerce from 1937 to 38. When his father died on the 14th of August 1938, despite being only 27 years old, he became governing director of the family firm. On the 1st of June 1935, Flight Lt Thomas married his wife, Joan Cicely Parsons. Pre-war, Flight Lt Thomas and his family lived in Blackheath, but being in the direct line of the German Air Force, they decided to move into the countryside. In 1940, Flight Lt Thomas joined the Royal Air Force Volunteer Service. He trained at 4 Operational Squadron before later joining 614 Squadron. On the 1st of June 1942, he then joined 297 Squadron and eventually was made an acting flight lieutenant. In Iceland, he was involved in an aircraft crash, but not one which killed him. According to the Kentish Independent newspaper, one flying officer escaped uninjured. Within sight of land, both engines failed and the crew managed to make an emergency landing, destroying their aircraft. Flight Lt Thomas was reportedly only shaken up and suffered no major injuries. By 1942, the German nuclear weapons program had come close to developing a nuclear reactor. For the reactor to function, it required large quantities of heavy water. The source of this heavy water was the Norsk Hydro plant, which had been occupied since 1940. The Special Operations Executive conceived a plan for 2 Halifax bombers towing 2 Horsa Gliders, taking off near Wick in Scotland, to land 30 Commandos 10 miles from the Norsk Hydro plant. They would link up with 4 Norwegian SOE agents, who would mark out the landing zone with flares for an attack on the Norsk Hydro plant. It would be called Operation Freshman, and this took place on the 19th of November 1942. The tugs and gliders both got close to their objective. Unfortunately, navigational, bad weather and communication difficulties meant the tugs could not release their gliders and headed back to Scotland, worried that they wouldn't have enough fuel to return. As they approached the west coast of Norway, both pairs suffered from tow ropes snapping. The gliders both crash-landed, resulting in multiple casualties. Flight Lt Thomas's Halifax also crash-landed while searching for its glider, killing all 7 aboard instantly, while the other Halifax managed to make it back to Scotland. Those who survived the glider crashes were captured by the German forces and killed as a result of an order which stated that any Allied personnel captured while involved in commando operations were to be executed immediately. At the end of the war, the personnel involved in the killings were tried, sentenced to death and executed for their part in the murders. Unfortunately, Flight Lt Thomas was involved in this crash, which led to his death. One day later, he was reported missing in action and was never seen again. It is deeply saddening knowing he never got to return home.